Welcome aboard the Love Boat.
Love, exciting and new. I'm aboard. I've been expecting you. The Love Boat.
Soon I'll be making another run.
It's a love. Welcome aboard. It's love. Yeah!
Well, greetings to all of our valued travel partners, advisors out there. It's Carmen Roy, VP of Sales. I'm back. Have you missed me? You must have missed me. I just realized today when I was, hello from Oklahoma, Grand Travel. Hello from Ontario, Christine. How cold is it in Ontario? And Lisa, I love the way you spell your name. From the DMV, woo, bring it. People, I checked my calendar. I haven't been here since February. Marsha ran the show all alone while I traveled the world. Not really, I wasn't traveling the world for pleasure. It was business. They had me, Attilio had me back to Attilio, my extraordinary Emily Andy assistant, who celebrated 3 years with us, by the way. Happy anniversary to him. I'm surprised he lasted 3 months. Oh, he's a glutton for punishment. Anyway, he's in the studio with me. So when I looked at the calendar, I realized I have not done a Connect with Princess webinar in months. Like, what's up with that? I've been slacking. So a commitment to you. I can't just let poor, I know she's your favorite. It's the Brady Bunch, Marsha. But I gotta kind of carry my own weight. So it's great to be back with you in May, which is like, when you think about it, we're almost done with the month of May. And it's great to be back, great to share. Such excitement because there's so much going on. I can't even begin to tell you, but we're going to get to it because at the end of the day, you've got a lot of questions. This was interesting. We've got a lot of questions for this particular version of our webinar, which I thought was really neat. So I want to tell you all, we look at your feedback. You're sticking around for the Q&A at the webinar. We've done this before. If it's your first time attending one of our Connect with Princess webinars, we want to welcome you. But for those of you who've been on webinars before, and we always ask you for your feedback and we ask you to go ahead and enter the questions. I always say it's always technical, and trust me when I tell you, it is always technical, and Murphy's Law follows me everywhere I go. But just to prove to you, because some of you, when I meet you at trade shows, and I know ASTA was happening this week, so my dear Marsha is there with Dana and the whole team. But some folks ask us, do you really read the questions? Do you really read the comments? We absolutely do. So I don't know if you know, this is a big year for us, right? We're celebrating our 60th anniversary. More to come on that. There's actually a slide. The next slide is QR codes. I want you all to know you're going to stick around for them. So hold and wait. But I want to prove to you that I do read the questions and that we do listen to your feedback and we incorporate it, because that's the only way we're going to become a pleasure to do business with. So I want to have a special call out. Go to the next slide, because it's going to be our 60th anniversary, right? 60th anniversary. And I wish I could find someone out there that's been with us the whole 60 years. I've only been here 3 years, right? But I've told you all the story. I started my career 44 years ago at the Port of Miami, even though we're in our studios in Fort Lauderdale. And it's the Love Boat, the reason why I started cruising and wanted to be in this happiness business. So celebrating our 60th anniversary, and I got to tell you, I don't think we've done a good enough job. So I've told the team, we're going to really raise the bar on our 60th anniversary. But I did find someone out there who's been selling our brand for 45 years. So I want to recognize Patricia Blanche, that is correct, from La Piñata, California, which I understand is 20 minutes south of Santa Clarita. I haven't been to the Santa Clarita office yet, so I need to do that when I'm back in. So I want to thank you, Patricia. You've been selling the Princess brand for 45 years. And I got to be honest, I am going to be doing a contest about this. I want to see who has been selling our brand for the longest as we celebrate our 60th anniversary. So to you, we're going to send you, Love Life Travels here. And excited she's here. Excellent, because we're going to send you, we've created these special edition 60th anniversary Princess shirts. You can't buy them. You can't get them. We have limited editions of these shirts, and I'm going to make sure you get the very first one. My team doesn't even have them. I don't even have it, but you will have one. And I want to thank you for your 45 years of partnership and loyalty. It warms my heart. For someone who's been doing this 44 years, I can tell you, 45 years, of the happiness business, you are one tough travel advisor. That's it. I have raised you and elevated you. I'm your number one fan, and I mean that in a really good way. So happy anniversary to us. We're going to have a big party in December. So let's talk about how we're going to celebrate. And right off the bat, I want to give everybody a heads up because we originally had the anniversary cruise. As you know, it's our Love Boat reunion. And if you do not recall, Pacific Princess, remember the Love Boat, Mexican Riviera, everybody's favorite, coming into your living room every Saturday. So we have decided to push off our anniversary cruise. So we're actually going to do the Love Boat reunion cruise, the 7 days, 60th anniversary Mexican Riviera cruise. Those are the temptations. Am I tempting you? We're going to make it a 7-day round trip, March 7th on Royal Princess. So truly gives you more time. Think about the Motown legends. And if you do not know who Jill Whelan is, she's Vicky Stubing. Do you remember that? She was just a tiny tot. Love Jill. She is one of the most amazing ambassadors for our brand. So more things will be announced to celebrate our 60th. 60 is not something that you come across very often. So I think it's very well worth special pomp and circumstance. So we're going to kick it off and we're going to do it big. We're going to do a countdown. Note to self, big countdown. Okay, so what's on our agenda? Because there's a lot. It's always action-packed. And you know, the team keeps me on a timely basis. I'm ready to go. I've got my special Seize the Day shirt on. We're going to talk about 20, 26, and 27 South America. So you're going to have an itinerary overview. We're going to talk about our early booking offer, which many of you think we don't have one. Yes, we do. We're going to talk about our new Total Solar Eclipse cruises. Remember these? These sold out when we first came out. So we got a new Total Solar Eclipse cruise to talk about. Our LTOs, limited time promotions and offers, and then we'll take your Q&A. So we're going to jump right in. And of course, I am not the guru and expert of itineraries, so we do have someone that will be joining us, which I think is great. So next slide will tell us again, new South America, Antarctica, hence why I'm wearing this, and Asia. So we're going to do a deep dive on these itineraries even before lunch. Again, a commitment to you. You've always said, we're a premium brand and we have complex itineraries. And sometimes, you know, everybody needs a refresher. You can't be an expert on everything. So we bring the experts to you. And joining me today will be none other than our manager of deployment and itinerary planning at Princess, Kyle Dunst. Kyle, welcome.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
It's good to it's your first time, right?
It is, yes.
First time on the hot seat with Connect with Princess. And unfortunately, you picked the short straw. Because you're not with Marsha. You're stuck with me. Oh, sorry. Tell us a little bit. Because, you know, I told you I was going to put you on the hot seat just because it's your first time on Connect with Princess. And I want the team to get to know you. So how long have you been with our brand, Kyle?
Yeah, I've been with Princess about 2 years now. So still relatively new and actually new to the cruise industry. So I spent the majority of my career in the airline industry in similar positions. So deciding where we were going to send airplanes and things like that, but really enjoying doing the same thing. And
wow.
what I think is a really exciting industry in the
Okay,
cruise.
so you've piqued my curiosity. Number one, 2 years. That means you are actually, you're probably the only person I have more tenure than, Kyle, because I'm here 3 years. And every time I have a great guest, they've always been here 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. Patricia's been selling this for 45. I mean, that's like impressive. So it's refreshing. And you were new to the cruise industry, so you came from aviation. Oof, sorry.
That is great.
That ain't very sexy, is it? Aviation, like, it's a commodity. You got to fly places, right? So how did you do itinerary? I didn't even know they would have itinerary planners for airlines. Tell me just quickly.
Yeah, it's actually
what did that
similar.
entail?
Yeah, so it's kind of similar. So really just matching demand to where to the assets that we had. So instead of sending cruise ships where people want to go, working with agencies and the customers and finding out where they want to fly, and then building the schedules that they need for leisure and business, and just making sure that we can kind of satisfy the needs of everyone. I think the biggest difference is that in the cruise industry, we're focused on the leisure customer, which I think is a lot more fun. Sending people on vacations is just a lot more exciting than kind of sending people on business trips.
And this is where I'm officially going to welcome you to the happiness business, which is the cruise business, right? Even though you've been here for 2 years, it is by far, to me, and I don't take it for granted. I don't take a day for granted. When I wake up, I want to pinch myself because we do what we do. And you obviously are the architect of some of these itineraries. So I can't wait to get right into it because we're going to talk about epic landscapes, extraordinary adventures as we get ready to launch, obviously, South America and Antarctica. I'm ready to go. New bookings, 26, 27 season, right? So I love the range, 15 to 33 days, 10 countries. Look at the destinations, UNESCO sites. We have collectors, right? People love to collect things. And then, so tell me a little bit about how you go about curating and deciding where we go and how we do it.
Yeah, so we like to offer kind of a good variety. So we know if someone's going down to South America, it's a big trip. Want to make sure they see kind of everything. They get the nature. So going to an all new scenic cruising that we came up with for this season, which is the Beagle Channel and Glaciers of Patagonia. As well as offering some of the city experiences. So Buenos Aires and enjoying everything that has to offer, Montevideo, Uruguay. And then also what the real reason that everybody's going is the wildlife. So making sure that everyone gets to see the penguins, the seals, the whales, really just being able to pack your bags once and see all of what South America has to offer is really what we were going for when we created these itineraries.
Fantastic. And I think we're doing it on Majestic. So Majestic Princess, 3560, that's guests with 1,400 plus veranda balcony staterooms, which is great. I want to tell everybody, because from a refurbishment perspective, the Majestic was originally designed, or when it was created, purpose-built, I want to say, it was kind of going to be the ship in Asia. And so we had to make some adjustments. So if you do not realize, we did have an extensive refurbishment on the ship. Am I right? And added some things. So like we added O'Malley's Irish Pub, which is great. Everybody knows that from our ships. Sabatini's, Alfredo's. I mean, there was a lot that was added to make it, absolutely perfect for this setup. But I also want to talk about not just Majestic, but this I get it a lot, right? And I was blown away. I'm a fun fact person. I like to know just, because, the post-pause. You remember the pause? I'm sure you were paused too, like the rest of the world was paused. One of the things I get is folks are like, well, have the ships been refurbished? So if people don't realize, we're going to introduce, or we're going to welcome into our fleet our 16th vessel, right? That'll be Star Princess later on in the fall. We welcomed Sun Princess last year, which we were just beyond excited about. Before that, when I joined, just so you know, Kyle, in 22, we had just brought in Discovery Princess. So those three ships, brand new to the fleet of the 16. If you think about it, since 2023, 12 of our ships have been refurbished. And I want everybody to realize that, because it's critical that you understand that we keep these ships to a level and standard that our guests expect. So we've chosen Majestic Princess, one of the newest ones that's refurbished. Why Princess for South America? And I get this question. A lot of people do different itineraries, right? We're a premium brand. We're global. So when you think about why do we do Princess, oh, nice. We will be doing her for the British Isles. Phenomenal. Janice, shiny new penny for you. Okay. So again, created all the things that our guests love. So in the next slides, we want to talk about why Princess in South America. I mean, look at this itinerary. I want you to talk about this map, where you're going, everything that's in there. Tell me why. Why would they choose us? Besides the fact that we've had best cruise Central and South America. Choices. I love the award. The awards are not because we don't want to pat ourselves in the back, Kyle. It's really because they're third-party endorsements. But tell me about this. This is pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of like what I mentioned before is that we're really able to see all the incredible cities of South America, some amazing shore excursions, food and wine, and nature, and then just the breathtaking scenery that you can see right from the ship. So we have a lot of scenic cruisings that we've kind of developed specifically with our captains and our navigation crew, just to make them as good as possible, all with the amenities that come with one of our Royal class ships. So Majestic's the largest ship with the most amenities that's approved by IAATO to operate in Antarctica. And that's really the gold standard for cruise ships that operate in Antarctica in a safe and responsible manner. So
Fantastic.
Really,
Fantastic. So let's go on to the next slide, because I want to see, like, I loved what you presented with photography because I'm looking at this. I'm like, okay, am I in Alaska?
Yeah.
Go
No.
ahead.
So brand new for this program is our full day scenic cruising of what's called the Beagle Channel and Glacier Alley. Might not have heard of Beagle Channel, but that's kind of what we like to do is find some of these new places that are kind of off the beaten track, but that offer an incredible experience. So Beagle Channel, it's one of the 3 navigable waterways between the Atlantic and Pacific coasts of South America. And what makes it really special is that the entire thing is lined with all different types of glaciers, some of which are unique to the region. So we designed this scenic cruising with our crew, with our captains, the captain that will be in charge of Majestic Princess to make sure our guests will experience as much of the region as possible. And this is an example of just one of the kinds of glaciers that you'll see, and it's called a hanging glacier.
I've never heard of such a thing. A hanging. First of all, I'd never heard of the Beagle Channel. Sorry, I'm geographically inept apparently, and I've been in the
Not yet,
region. But
you know,
what is a
everyone's gonna be
hanging
talking
glacier?
about it, so. Yeah, a hanging glacier. It's a little bit different than kind of the ones we're used to, and it's a glacier that originates basically up on top of the mountains and then descends only part of the way down. And what makes that really interesting is that from where it stops, as the glacier water melts, it creates a waterfall cascade
Beautiful.
out into the water.
Absolutely beautiful. And then tell me some other glaciers that we're gonna. Oh, this is breathtaking. Okay, this is. Wait, pause, Kyle, because
Yeah.
I went to Alaska last year. No, we're #1 in Alaska, but this kind of stuff is really getting me ready. The team makes fun of me because it's like I freeze. I'm a South Floridian, so I'm ready for our glaciers. Tell me, which
Yeah, sure.
is this one?
Yeah, so this is another kind of glacier. This is a tidewater glacier. Again, the Glacier Alley is lined with these. And what's different is that these flow all the way down to the ocean. So you don't necessarily get the waterfalls, but you will experience what's called calving, which is where the chunks of the glacier fall into the sea, create thunderous noises, but also icebergs. It's just a really cool thing to see that's very different than the waterfalls you see in the hanging glaciers. And what's cool about the glaciers in the Beagle Channel is that they're all named after European countries. So as you're kind of going through, you'll pass the Germany glacier, the Italy glacier, the France glacier.
Oh,
so
how cool!
countries as you are exploring the channel.
Oh, that's a pretty cool nugget right there. First of all, South America, ladies and gentlemen, what other kind of glacier? Okay, I feel like this is like a trip I should have taken my kids on. I feel extremely irresponsible as a parent. This would have been, what did you do? Oh my God, on vacation. This would have been the perfect itinerary to educate them. This is incredible. You're actually educating me, which I kind of like. Hard to do. Go.
Awesome. Yeah, and this is just another example of a glacier you'll see. So this is Amelia Glacier in the Chilean side of the channel. And it's one that's just extremely breathtaking.
Wow, beyond. Are these new to us? Have we ever been here?
A lot of these are
Sure.
brand new. So we've never actually cruised through the Beagle Channel before. This is
Fantastic.
brand new for this program. Yep.
Okay, that's exciting and new, just so you know. Thought I'd throw that in there because it's part of our. So let's talk about the itinerary. So absolute new itinerary, 15-day. Oh my God, this is gorgeous. And look at the time of year. Like, talk about majesty at its best. So what can we expect on this amazing cruise? Perfect timing.
Yeah, so the first thing I want to point out, which is the real reason everybody's going to this region, like I mentioned before, the penguins. So don't worry, you will see penguins on this voyage. And so, like we offer really a good mix. So the cities, the breathtaking scenery, the scenic cruising, so being able to see it without even leaving the ship. And so all of this is offered on these 15-day open jaw voyages between Buenos Aires and Santiago, Chile. So that's the other great thing, is that you get to spend time in what I think are South America's 2 best cities on either side of the voyage.
Beautiful. Absolutely. Look at this. And so there was just a pop-up comment. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And again, so it's next. So let's see what else we got, because you got a lot going on here, and I think it's wonderful. So
Yeah.
on excursions, right? The best. I love Montevideo. I've been there. Absolutely beautiful. Just like, I can't even begin to tell everybody. It's just, look at that shot. Like, that is real, folks. Incredible. Incredible. Tell me, what can we expect
Yeah, absolutely. So just some of the things that you can do on this voyage. So in Montevideo, Uruguay, you can visit a 100-year-old working ranch. You can try some of the daily activities of the ranch with local owners. You can enjoy home cooked barbecue with wine while watching them do their traditional dances and folk songs. It's one of our local connections offerings. So a really cool experience. And then in Puerto Montt, you can either do whitewater rafting through some pretty intense rapids, or if you want a more laid back option, we offer bus tours that just give you a more laid back view of the incredible scenery. And then on the wildlife side, Puerto Madryn, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Valdez Peninsula. It's one of the Southern Hemisphere's largest wildlife preserves. And so you'll see everything from elephant seals, whales, dolphins, and yes, penguins.
So I got to tell you, Cal, before we go to the next slide. So I'm watching the series 1923. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I
And so
haven't.
when I'm looking at Montevideo, that's what that reminds me of. Obviously, I could just imagine doing this 100-year-old working ranch. Talk about cultural immersion, right? Because they're going to be, not only are they doing this home cooked and they're in their family ranch barbecue lunch. I love the local wine. You had me at that versus the water rafting. And then they're going to enjoy like traditional gaucho dances, because when you're in Montevideo, that's what you want to see, and the folklorical songs and everything. So it's cultural immersion at its best. I absolutely love it. Okay, the next itinerary, which is a 17-day Antarctica and South America. Oh, I love that it's round trip Buenos Aires because the lift, right?
Yeah.
And when I was in Buenos Aires, if I can just throw that in there, make sure you're doing a tango experience. Got to do that. Make sure they go pre and post and that you're doing. I did it last March. It was incredible. There's so much to do. I really needed more than one day. And I'm sure our travel advisors recommend that their clients go in or stay a little later just so they can truly take advantage of that immersion, right? I mean, it's just incredible. I couldn't get my husband, Kyle, to take tango lessons, but I'm going back next year. So guess what? He's
All right.
forced to take tango lessons. But tell me about this 17-day. I love the idea it's round trip Buenos Aires. I love airlift simplicity. Makes it nice and easy.
Yeah, absolutely. So after Majestic does the South America voyages, she'll embark on two 17-day Antarctica trips, which also include some of the highlights of South America that we talked about. So the Cape Horn scenic cruising, the Falkland Islands, which is one of the best examples of wildlife on the planet, as well as 4 days kind of scenic cruising the Antarctic Peninsula and just experiencing Antarctica firsthand.
So I'll go to the next slides because number one, here is obviously the itinerary, right? You got your map here. This is what the map looks like. And you're going to take us through because the visuals that you presented us with, like Iceberg Alley and Elephant Island, I mean, it's like, I can't make this stuff up. It's just spectacular.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, like, a lot of people just think of Antarctica as being flat and white, but it's really the complete opposite of that. It's a very diverse landscape. So we have everything from major islands, icebergs, and what's really cool is that we spend 4 days there, and our captains and crew, they make each voyage a unique experience, and they'll seek out the best scenic cruising opportunities and wildlife depending on the current conditions of when they happen to be on there. And there's 1,200 miles of coastline, so there's
Look
always
at that.
something new for them to explore.
Iceberg Alley, phenomenal. I mean, I feel like that, it's so beautiful.
It is, yeah. And this is
Absolutely
just a
stunning.
couple examples of what you'll see while you're down there.
Beautiful. Elephant Island, gorgeous. Okay, tell me about the strait.
Yeah, so this
Talk
is
about
the Gerlache Strait, and this is Sapphire Princess on her recent season down in Antarctica.
So I got to tell everybody this because, you know, there's a lot of companies that do exotic itineraries, and you got the Zodiacs and the Roughing It. I love that we can do it in comfort, in Princess Premium Comfort, right? Because look at the scenic viewing in the comfort with everything that big ship ocean liners offer, right? And there is a client for this. It would be my husband, just so you know, because we've had many opportunities to do it in Expedition. Expedition's phenomenal. Please don't misunderstand me. It's fantastic. I worked at a brand that had an Expedition ship. Gorgeous. But for me, there's a client out there, and I say this to our travel advisors, that might not want to have that roughing it kind of experience necessarily, and they might not want to put a toe in the water, right? But to do it on us, it takes it to a whole new level. Maybe just have them come and experience it. Then if they want to go do and roughing it and do an expedition, they can. But what a great way to introduce a whole new world, right, to our guests and to your clients. Talk about wildlife. Look at that. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I think that's one of the biggest concerns that people have about not doing an expedition is, am I going to see the wildlife? And the answer is yes. You'll see just as much
Thank you.
wildlife as you would. So we get really close as close as we can to the penguins, the seals, and every single voyage, we just have countless wildlife encounters.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
And then again, when we have all these incredible Shorex, right, our experiences are really unique because they can do this with a Princess Excursion. So this one happens to be in Magdalena Island. Am I right?
Yeah,
No.
that's correct.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yep. So Penguin Reserve in Magdalena Island, and that's from Punta Arenas. Yeah.
Punta Arenas, which is, and then Montevideo, stop. Just take a pause. Buenos Aires I talked about already, but Montevideo as well is this itinerary is so packed with culture, history. I think it runs the gamut, a little bit of everything. Pretty spectacular. And there are collectors for this. So get into the itineraries because I really want to see some of these. Phenomenal. Out of Fort Lauderdale. Talk to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So these are the positionings down to Fort Lauderdale. From Fort Lauderdale to Buenos Aires. So a really cool 18-day Brazilian adventure. So you'll spend the first few days in the Caribbean, so St. Martin, Dominica, Barbados, before going on to Fortaleza, spending a late night in Rio de Janeiro.
Nice.
Before ultimately arriving in Buenos Aires with an overnight stay. And what's really cool is that you can combine this with our first South America voyage, the one that we talked about from Buenos Aires to Santiago, to make it a 33-day kind of grand adventure that goes everywhere in South America, basically.
Perfection. If you're going that way, and there are folks, again, they collect, this is the way to do it. You're going to be there, take advantage of it. Absolutely amazing itinerary. Look at that. This is definitely something we can serve up and do so. And again, premium brand, beautiful ships, right? So I want to talk about, this is where I get excited because it's the sales cap and the marketing cap and really about our early booking benefits, right? We continue to do this and we've heard from our travel advisors, how do we get behind this so that we can get it to everybody, right? And so it's really great. Book by June 14th, 26, 27, South America and Antarctica. It's our launch season. The up to $1,200 onboard credit, and believe me, there is a lot to spend on board with some of these excursions. Spectacular, well worth it. Talk about going to exotic places. The $400 inshore excursion credit per stateroom as well. And then again, when you think about the additional onboard credit for past guests, that's just another layer of an amenity that we can add. And again, really important. So that's pretty great value proposition. And we always do this when we do the early booking benefits when we launch. So book by June 14th, and that's what they're going to enjoy. And then we're going to shift. Even though apparently I put my tuk-tuk on a little too soon. Sorry about that. Do I have to keep it on? Yes, I'll keep it on. It doesn't look good for my hair, but we're going to be okay. Okay, we're going to live through this. So this is our Southeast Asia itineraries and what you've created here with 6 new sailings. Again, 20 UNESCO sites, and from 10 to 42 days with 10 countries, 37 destinations. This is chock full of adventure, which I absolutely love. So let's get right to it. On Sapphire and Diamond Princess, beautiful. So I was on Diamond last year in Japan, and actually we have Sarah and Mary Irene this week escorting a very elite group for one of our travel agency network teams that are on. So absolutely great. Again, we're talking about refurbishments, 23, 24 refurbished. There's your guest count deck, 700 plus veranda balconies, which is phenomenal. And you all know, when you think Diamond Princess, you think Japan right off the bat. And so here's Sapphire and Diamond both doing these particular itineraries. So let's get why Princess for Asia and Japan. And you see JNTO there. So I want to say a couple things about the incredible partnership that we have with JNTO. So, Kyle, we recently just had Clear Cruise 360. April, it was in Fort Lauderdale. Then in November, we have Cruise World coming down. And JNTO, they truly are the Japanese National Tourism Office here in the US, partners with us because we've made a commitment to Japan. And it's kind of like when we say Alaska. So we've been voted best cruise line in Asia, best cruise line itineraries, obviously in Asia. So this is great. And it's this partnership we have with them. And it's in our DNA. We don't just visit there, we live there. We are very much ingrained in the culture. So I want to talk about the itineraries. And I know you say you're an expert in Japan. So I wish I'd had you last year, even though I had the JNTO, would have loved to have had you. Let's talk about these itineraries.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. So for our Southeast Asia itineraries, we offer a few different ones. They're all 14-day sailings, but we'll talk about in a little bit how we can combine those into longer voyages. But so this is the voyage from Singapore to Yokohama, Tokyo, and offers some of the best cities in Southeast Asia. So you'll get to go to Nha Trang, Hong Kong with a late night stay, which is probably my favorite city in the world. As well as a scenic cruising of Ha Long Bay, which is, we'll go into a little bit more detail in. On the
Beautiful. I think it's the next slide. It's so picturesque. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Again, a UNESCO World Site, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so this is kind of along the same strategy as Beagle Channel and Glacier Alley is we're trying to create experiences where you can experience the breathtaking scenery without having to leave the ship. Obviously, you're going to leave the ship, but we want to be able to offer it while you're able to enjoy the amenities that the ship has. So on these sailings, we'll be going into Ha Long Bay, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a popular travel destination in Vietnam. It's usually the first thing that comes to mind when someone thinks of Vietnam. It has kind of a cool backstory. So Ha Long means descending dragon, and the legend is that when Vietnam kind of started to develop into a country, they had to fight against invaders. I guess everyone wanted to be there, probably because it was so beautiful.
Gorgeous.
But the Vietnamese, they requested the gods to send a family of dragons as protectors, and they spit out jewels and jade. Well, those jewels and jade eventually became what we know as the islands of Ha Long Bay. So that's
Beautiful.
the legend of Ha Long Bay, and we're really, really excited to be able to have both Diamond and Sapphire explore this destination. And what's
Very
really
cool.
there will be
Descending Dragon. Who would have known? I didn't know
Absolutely.
that. There you go. You served me up again. I'm loving this. Learning
And,
so much.
something that we're really looking forward to is we coordinated. There's going to be one day in 2027 where both Diamond and Sapphire will be here together. So the two ships will meet up in Ha Long Bay. We're really excited about that.
Beautiful.
And then we also offer some round trip options from Singapore. Singapore is a really easy city to get to now. It's far, but it has a lot of airlift to the US as well as everywhere else in the world. So this is our kind of Southeast Asia home port. So we offer 14-day voyages that visit all of the highlights of the Malay Peninsula. So going up to Phuket.
Yeah, the itinerary is
Dili,
spectacular.
And then as well as an overnight stay in Bangkok, Thailand.
By the way, Singapore, you can eat off the floor. I mean, I could not believe how clean it is. It's amazing. I mean, it is gorgeous if you've never been. So it's phenomenal. Absolutely great home port to have, by the way.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. And it does very well for us. So my favorite part about these itineraries that we designed them specifically to be able to be combined. So they're 14 days, but you can do them as 28-day voyages or a 42-day round trip that visits all of the highlights of Southeast Asia and Japan. So talk about being able to experience everything the region has to offer while only packing your bags once. This is just the definition of that. So we
You
really
better believe it. 42 days. And then look at the overnights too. And the scenic, again,
yeah.
absolutely gorgeous, right? And Ho Chi Minh City, Hanoi, Hong Kong, all of it. You got a little bit of everything here.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and then these are just a few additional offerings. So showing how you can combine the two for a 28-day that starts in Tokyo and then does the round trip Singapore voyage. So as well as how does Sapphire get over to Asia? And so we have an all new Trans-Pacific crossing that will go to all of the ports in Hawaii, and then make her way over to Tokyo. And you can combine that with some of the Southeast Asia voyages to make a grand adventure.
That's fantastic. Because if you're going all that way for the airlift, I always tell our travel advisors, think about the cost of air. You haven't been in aviation, you know those prices. They're just lovely. It's a commodity. You gotta get there, right? There's no other way.
Yeah.
But think about it. If folks don't necessarily want to fly, that 33-day is a phenomenal option, right? Going out of LA, so you're looking at that flight. And then the longer they go, then it becomes an annuity. You just amortize the cost of the air against the 33, the 28 days. I mean, it's a value prop is the way I want to say it. So talk about the experiences that we do. Again, these immersive excursions that we do are pretty phenomenal, right? So,
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, so similar to Southeast Asia, it's just we want to offer a good variety of the big cities, the more off the beaten track destinations, and then some of the nature. And Southeast Asia, it offers a lot of that all in close proximity. So really able to incorporate that. So the temples and palaces in Bangkok and Penang, the beaches in Koh Samui, which are just one of a kind. And then again, Hong Kong, which we have a nice full day there. Just so that you can see as much of it as possible, because it
Fantastic.
everything. Yeah.
Okay, and then Kuala Lumpur. I haven't been there. Oh,
Yeah, so this is one of my favorites, actually. This is definitely a must-do if you do one of these voyages. It's called the Batu Caves, and it's a shrine inside of a mountain. And I know the steps look like a lot of work, and they are, but it's definitely worth it, and it's a great place to relax once you're inside the cave. And yeah, you can do that from Kuala Lumpur.
absolutely phenomenal. Oh my God, look at that. I would absolutely love that. Again, those excursions, great cultural immersion, very curated, right? And available through us, right? Which again is, for our travel advisors, it's a great selling point because it's turnkey for you and you know you're in good hands. Premium hands, let me put it to you that way. Okay, so I'm gonna take off my tuk-tuk. Is the hair a mess, Kyle? Did I make a mess of my hair? Welcome to
No, it looks good.
Did you notice I'm prepped? I mean, I'm ready, okay? Like, just saying. So again, our early booking benefits for this particular Southeast Asia launch of 26-27. If you think about the voyages, what they span, November 26 through 27, booking by June 13th, it's an up to $400 onboard credit per stateroom. And what I will tell everybody is this destination is hot. It's been hot. It continues to be hot. I don't mean technically hot, because when I went in July, it was really hot. But you know what is very similar to South Florida with the humidity and the heat? I was like, I'm right at home. Welcome me aboard. But want to make sure everybody knows what the booking benefits are. And again, you did a great job like walking us through that, which is phenomenal. So now it's time to get selling. So what does get selling mean? What do we have available for you? The assets, the marketing materials, and again, the QR codes we talked about, really critical. So it's the next slide where you can download the QR code, right? So this is the at a glance. You really, in order, I think, whenever we present to you on a Connect with Princess, I want to call out a shout out to the team, obviously, Joe and Brandon and Ann. It takes a village, and it's just the three of them to make this happen, right? To make sure you have all the assets you need so that you can go forth and sell the brand, which I think is really wonderful. So make sure you do the QR code, get you all of the deployment at a glance, and of course, the benefits flyers, the ones that we just covered here. And then going straight through to the 2026 total solar eclipse sailings, right? So this is the new one that I want to focus. So if you all remember when we came out and we talked about what we were doing for total eclipse, we actually had to offer a second option. We started with Sun Princess and Sun Princess, Sky Princess, and now we just added a 14-day med with the total solar eclipse, okay? So it's August 4th of 26, hot off the press. You got to get it booked. These were extremely, I mean, they were sold out and they were actually waitlisted forever. So let's go through the itinerary, and this is the 14-day med. Late night in Barcelona, and Civitavecchia, which is obviously the home port for Rome. And I highly recommend pre and post, folks, pre and post. And a late night in Barcelona, so you can really go do the Ramblas, go through there, really get immersed. Your clients, 14 days, absolutely phenomenal. And want to make sure we brought this to your attention because the first two sold out. And we had wait lists forever. Actually, after the first one sold out, we opened up the second one. Now we got a third voyage option for you to consider. And then my favorite, because everybody thinks of us as, which is great. It's our number one destination, Alaska. So if you go to the next slide, we are returning to San Juan. And I want to put this on the map here. So if you did not realize, yes, we're number one in Alaska. We have been. Kyle, you know that. I mean, Princess is synonymous with Alaska. It's kind of like when we looked at Japan. It's in our DNA. We don't just visit there, we live there, right? We're part of the fabric of the destination. When I think about how I've been talking to our travel advisors and they're telling me, oh yeah, we think Princess, we think Alaska, we think Princess, we think Alaska. Thank you. Hence why we're number one. But recently, when I was at CLIA Cruise 360, we're talking about, they do the summit and they talk about global sourcing in the industry. And I know that we're here at Princess and we see everything through our optics and, you know, through my prism of Princess, where we are number one in Alaska, it's our number one seller, and we're highly invested. But with the addition of Sun and Star, I will tell you, Caribbean has a huge capacity increase for us, as does Europe. Returning to San Juan after a decade is a big deal. So I'm actually going to San Juan. Sorry about that. I've been talking for 3 days straight. So I will tell you that this is pretty much a best kept secret. We've been out of San Juan for 10 years. We're back now, and we will be back this fall. It's a 7-day Southern Caribbean. The airlift to San Juan has never been more affordable. It gives your clients who've done Eastern Western a whole new release on what the Caribbean is, because it's actually just 1 week long. They're visiting Barbados, St. Lucia, Martinique. Great for family. If you have limited time vacation, you want to go deeper into Southern Caribbean, there is a lot going on in San Juan. San Juan in and of itself, Puerto Rico, we had, if you go back on one source, we had a dedicated webinar to our launch of San Juan. And I think we're going to bring one back up because it's critical for everybody to understand how great this is. You're visiting 5 islands. You can do back-to-back two-week voyage. I mean, you can do a 2-week voyage. It's absolutely spectacular. And you're getting deeper into the Caribbean, which is a very unique way. So there's a webinar option for the future. But what's new? The insider scoop. I always love to break an insider scoop on these things. So these will be starting from May 28th through June 11th. We're going to offer an air credit. So I want to keep this slide up just another second, because if you think about it, it's a limited time offer. One of the things folks talk about is air credit. It's so convenient to go out of Fort Lauderdale, or we don't go to Miami, but other brands do. But we have Port Canaveral, we have Galveston. But to get to San Juan, everybody has to fly. Our Canadians absolutely love, especially Toronto, love these voyages. And so we listen to you, really important. You see, we are listening, and we are offering an air credit per person. Again, these are select cruises. There's the QR code. We're infamous for the codes, giving you plenty of time to look those up. And I got to tell you, it's just, San Juan is exciting. I'm going back in July. I was there in September. We've had ship visits there, introducing, you know, our return to San Juan. Oh my God, that itinerary. I could just taste the mofongo. I don't know if you've ever had mofongo, Kyle. It's so good. Okay, so we'll go straight to news, notes, and reminders. This is where I go quick. It's like kind of like speed dating, but it's going to be okay. Going to take a deep breath because we got time, which is a beautiful thing. So let's talk about some of these news and notes, and you got to really know. Listen, I get it. Cal's been with us 2 years. I've been here 3 years, and we have had more change, and it's constant. I just love it. You know what I like to say is after 60 years, like we're celebrating 60, this is today's Princess. It's not the Princess of 60 years ago. We've got change that's constant. So when I first got here, Kyle, the one thing I thought is, oh, what do I think of Princess? I don't know. I think vanilla. We are so not vanilla, people. We are so not your grandparents' Cadillac. This is an experience to behold. So let's just talk about the news and remembers. And I really want everybody to get into that understanding that you just got to pivot. I've learned to pivot. I like change. Most people don't embrace change. I embrace change, and I'm not talking change once a year, every 6 months, a quarter, a month, a week, a day. I'm talking constant change. So effective July 1, checks will no longer be accepted as a form of payment. So I want to make sure there's wire payment details, get the QR codes. What are acceptable forms of payments? Folks, you know, when we were putting this slide up, I've got a confession, Kyle. Look at you on your first Connect with Princess, and I'm confessing to you already. Woo. I still use checks, okay? So I'm like, and what's wrong with checks? Well, nobody uses checks anymore. I do. I use checks, and I'm proud of it, okay? So don't tell me it's Zelle or whatever it is that people do, Zelle and PayPal. I don't do any of that. I'm an old-fashioned. I even have customized checks. I used to have rainbows on them and unicorns and all sorts of fun stuff. Now I have them customized. Yes, it's okay. But we will no longer be accepting them effective July 1. So you can do wire payments. You've got the details there in the QR code. We do PayPal, wire transfers, of course, credit cards, and even debit cards. I learn something new all the time. So please keep that in mind. If you have any questions, reach out to your BDM. We want to make sure that we're sticking with it. So, oh my God, this is a moment of awe. Let me have my Zen moment here. Oh, did you see this? My ship happens, huh? Oh, and I was going to talk about my beautiful collection when I was on Discovery. Well, how can this be? You see, I have way too many gadgets, and then I forget I bring them. Who needs them? I talk 20 minutes to a doorknob. I want to thank the team. Our Spring 26 to Spring 27 destination collection. We are a premium brand. This is another question I get often when I'm out there, folks, that everybody wants to know, well, are you going to continue to do your destination collections? Are you going to continue to do brochures? Of course we are. We're not a mass market brand. We're a premium brand. You saw Kyle's presentation. We bring you the world. Those are complex destinations. You cannot expect your consumer, your client, or you. I can't expect you to know everybody in every destination in the world. And if you're like me and everybody's already qualified me as a diner, so I'm okay. I still have checks. I need to have a brochure. We are in a very different space. And it's really critical when you're sitting with a client that you've got everything we have aboard. So I want to thank the team. Oh my God, they do such an amazing job. Again, available for you. Order your copies now, today, have them at your desk, get them ready to go. More things coming down the pike that is available, right? Oh, and I love when they do this, the brand overview and the cruise calendar. One of the things when I got here that I got everybody asking me for is, can we get a cruise calendar? You know, it's really difficult for us to know every single brand, right? So if you think of our brand overview and cruise calendar, it's an 8-page pamphlet, nice and simple, right? Great option for you to hand out to your clients. What makes us special? How do I differentiate the Princess brand? And how do I help you learn to differentiate it for your clients? And if I don't produce these amazing pieces to make your life easier, I will not have a job in a year. So I'm going to keep doing it because we have a great team that does it. And dare I say, Memorial Day. See, I tell you, do you love this? By the way, this is my Memorial Day hat, but I also wear it 4th of July. Kyle, you want to know my biggest holiday all year? 4th of July.
I can see that.
Oh, you have no idea. I already started decorating. So if you were to go to my apartment, you'll start seeing the decorations because I start with Memorial Day. And then, woo, look at this. I'm not going to go on Facebook. I promise. I'm not going to post any social pictures from my Memorial Day weekend or my 4th of July weekend where I'm wearing stars and striped bikini because nobody needs to see that. Trust me. But you get to see my cap and it's got to be star-studded. So our military benefit. Okay, I got to tell you, I think it's the best kept secret. So I'm going to keep the QR code up because we really do salute our service men and women. Okay, and by the way, oh Canada, or in the good old US of A, right? Think about it, up to $250 in onboard credit, whether you're active, retired, or disabled veterans. Okay, here's the unique part. It's available on any cruise anytime. There are no restrictions. Why would we put restrictions on our heroes? We wouldn't. Okay, and I get all the clips, so I think we're gonna have to keep moving on. QR code, make sure that you realize, and we gotta talk it up. Other people do a better job than we do, and so I'm making it my own personal mission to ensure that on every webinar, every touch point, that we salute, okay, our military. They deserve it now more than ever. Okay, so please bring the flyers, get it going. We do have, I don't kind of want to take this off. It looked better than the tuk-tuk, didn't it? What do you think, Kyle? Be honest, since you're just meeting me for the first time.
I'm liking this one. Yeah, it's a good look.
Kyle, you've become my favorite. You're coming back on a Connect with Princess, I promise. Okay, everybody's laughing at me because they did not prepare you for this, did you? Sorry. Memorial Day weekend sale. So I got to tell you, May 22nd. So what day is today? Do we know? Does anybody know what day today is? Is it the 22nd?
It is. Yeah.
My oh my, started today through the 26th. So Memorial weekend sale, really cool. Up to $800 instant savings, up to 40% off, free room upgrade, and third and fourth guest free. I mean, like, just throw the kitchen sink at it. Now, I want to stop here because, we do these LTOs a lot, right? And so the Memorial weekend sale, you've seen us ramp up a lot this year. So this was something that we didn't do before, Kyle. We did sales here and there, but these limited time offers, we call them boosts, and we will continue to do them because they are working. Now, I will apologize because I understand that the last boost we did, which was a Mother's Day one, there were some challenges with some of the programming. We heard you loud and clear. As a matter of fact, a special shout out to Stephanie, who actually carried the flag for all of you and shared all that feedback. So when we have our Father's Day one, it'll be different, okay? But look for it now. Look at how rich this offer is. And I got to tell you, now's the time, and it started today. So even if you're taking Monday off or Sunday off, you can get it going now. And then, of course, our regular offers, right? So if your clients don't book by Monday, ta-da, they can still enjoy up to $400 instant savings, the 40% off cruise fares, free room upgrades, $99 deposits. And then this was just extended. So it was originally through June 30th. It's through July 21st. So another bit of feedback that we listened to from you all. You really are valuable to us. Listen, I know that what you do is really, really difficult, right? You're not just dealing with us. Wouldn't that be great? I wish you were an exclusive seller of Princess. That would make my happy days happier. But the reality is you have a lot of choices to make, and you're going to sell partners that make life easy for you and that we strive to be a pleasure to do business with. We fall short every once in a while, but believe me, we want to make sure we're leveraging everything. So through July 21st, you see the continuation of that. You just saw the other offer, and then here we've got our Canadian resident rate offer. 10% instant savings. This started April 7th, going through the 21st. Oh, Canada, there is your voyage. Listen, yes, we love you. When you question whether we love you or not, I say to you, I put a fourth BDM in Canada. We put somebody in Quebec. French speaking. Oui, je parle un peu français. So I listened to my people that said they needed somebody French speaking in Quebec, in Eastern Canada. And then I'd have to say a huge thank you to Christine, because Christine Kelly handled the territory. Oh, Canada's a big country, Kyle. Big country. And we only had two people, one in the East, one in the West. Then we have Mavis, and now we've got Kat, who joined us. So Canada, we are committed to you. We're committed to you, not just with your resident rate offers, but every time we look at something, we get very, very succinct with our commercial team, because you are big to our success. And I'm sure everybody has told you this has been a tough year, and our Canadian business kind of like came to a halt. I can't have that. I cannot have that. I need you to love me, because we love you, and we're going to continue to embrace. Our Canadian advisors are spectacular, and they're really nice people. And I've learned to say sorry, because they say sorry a lot. And they shouldn't be apologizing, because they're pretty darn spectacular. I love it when I'm in Canada. Next slide is our promotions. I give credit to my dear Marsha. She is a rock superstar. And of course, Joe, who created the piece, because again, to be a pleasure to do business with, I cannot have that alphabet soup of fare codes. Did you know we have all these promo codes, Kyle? Have you ever seen these codes? It's ridiculous. I'm sorry. I have no filter. When I got here, I'm like, why do we have an alphabet of soup? And why is nothing combined with this? And how do you expect our travel advisors to keep track if I work here and I can't figure it out? You have got to make life simpler for them. So there's the QR code. I am telling you right now, if it wasn't for Joe, we wouldn't have these. And Marsha leading it, because she's so spectacular. So current promotion's phenomenal. So Love Fest. Yes. Everybody's like, what is a Love Fest? So we inaugurated this 3 years ago in 22. They're year-long road shows. You know, Princess love is in our DNA. It's part of our brand essence. But love isn't about Valentine's Day or one day a year, 1 month a year. And we just had our, national, we love our travel advisor day, right? Most recently in May, I think it was May 7th. The reality is love is year round. So our BDMs, they host them whether they're on board our ships in port or whether they do the Love Fest on land, okay? We have home team BDMs. So my commitment to our trade partners when I got here is that we would support you. We know what you do. We know what it takes to do what you do. There's our upcoming Love Fest lineup, which I love. So you'll see the ones that are on the ship, and then we also have some Love Fests that are done on land. And you need to know who's your business development manager. I made the commitment that if someone raises their hand and they want to learn how to sell our brand, whether you've done absolutely nothing with us ever, not given us a single booking, you raise your hand, we will have a BDM call on you, help you develop your Princess business. It's our commitment to you. It's how we strive to be a pleasure to do business with. So we can't do just import functions. Maybe you want a little more in-depth, immersive training. We do seminars at sea. You're going to join one of our BDMs. Actually, we normally put 2, anywhere from 4 to 8 days. Discounted rate. It includes Princess Plus. Truly is training. And those are the dates that we've got. So you'll notice we've already gone through the first half of the year pretty much. So our next ones are in August. And we have some availability in all of these. So I highly recommend, if you've never joined us or you've never done our academy, you got to get it done. Because it makes the difference. I can sit here, Kyle can talk about our itineraries. We can talk about our ships, 12 of which, after 23, we've had refurbishments, but that's hardware. You need the software because that's where the magic happens, folks. And then, of course, we always talk about Facebook page. Joe, who manages this for me, poor thing, he's always screaming at me because I never go on. I have a personal, Facebook page, but the work one I really should pay attention to. Thank you, Joe. So let's move on to the questions. But before we do questions, I'd be remiss, Kyle. Brandon's in control. I want Joe popped up on the sign. I know he's in the office. Joe, I want you on screen because, folks, Joe Franco, who's been with us, he is our senior manager of trade marketing, the glue that has kept this all together. Probably the nicest guy at Princess Cruises. He actually even has sat in to be Stanley, the bear. There's Joe. Joe, I'm going to cry, Joe, because this can't be goodbye. It's got to be until we meet again because Joe tendered his resignation. God, the Friday before Mother's Day, that was the gift this man gives me. I told him to take the weekend to think about it. The weekend to think about it. Think about it over the weekend, Joe. Don't ruin my Mother's Day. Come back Monday and tell me you want to stay in the happiness business. So, Joe, I got to tell you, you know how I tell you I believe in karma and the universe and the stars and the moon aligning? Think about where Kyle came from. Kyle, where did you come from? What was that industry?
The airlines, the big bad airlines. Yep.
Aviation, right? Where are you going, Joe?
Aviation.
Boo. I had to take this moment. What are you doing, Joe? This guy's jumping from the plane to come to the happiness business and you're leaving us. But with all kidding aside, I just had to bring you on. He wasn't expecting this, folks, because we're not going to have another webinar. He'll be gone June 4th. So this is my opportunity, number one, to embarrass him, but number two, to thank him because he is the best. He is truly, it has been an honor, a privilege, a pleasure. The nicest guy in the business. He makes Canadians look evil. He really does. He makes you nice Canadians look like mean human beings. He is the nicest guy. He says yes to everything. Takes on, he's a 24/7 guy. And we're going to miss you so much, Joe, because I'm going to have to cry. And they say I don't have a heart. And because I'm heartless, I'm not going to prove myself wrong. But we're going to miss you. And I've said to him, I'm leaving the position open because I have a feeling he's going to come on back. But if he doesn't, it's only until we meet again because we got to celebrate almost 20 years with us. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you very much.
No, we love you. And I think we have a couple Q&As. Let's give me a couple questions. We'll make it quick. This was more important than any questions anybody has. Because I'm sure their question is, why would Joe leave the happiness business when Kyle just came over to the happiness business? Okay. Speed dating, Kyle. You ready? Are any of your newer
Ready.
ships doing these South America and Asia sailings?
So not the newest, but all of these ships have been very recently refurbished. So Majestic
refurbished.
just came out of a dry dock with all new amenities a month ago, and Diamond and Sapphire both been refurbished in the last year or so.
Bingo. Thank you. Next question. How does Princess determine which ships sail which itineraries? Oh, this is good.
That's a
You
good
want to
question.
answer that or you want me to take it?
Yeah, I can take it. So it's a few things. The biggest thing is probably really just supply and demand. So you'll see our biggest and newest ships on the itineraries where we really have kind of a big presence. So things like Alaska and Europe in the summer, and then the Caribbean in the winter, where there's just a lot of demand for our voyages. That's where we put the biggest ships. The other kind of part of it is really just geography. So not all our ships can go through the Panama Canal. So we tend to keep them in one ocean, if that makes sense. So
It does, but can I do something? I'm going to do a commercial call because you mentioned Panama Canal and we purpose built Star Princess to go through the canal. She's our biggest ship and she's going to be in Alaska 2026. That's putting our money where our mouth is. We'll have 8 ships in Alaska. By the way, there's still space in Alaska this season, folks. We're going to get a lot of close-in bookings. So we are not sold out. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Next and last question. And if we didn't get to your questions, we'll answer them in the chat. Okay. One more question regarding cruise tours. Will the Machu Picchu pre-post option be back?
Yeah, so basically we are able to offer that when we have a ship kind of positioning from the West Coast down to South America. It goes via Ecuador, Peru, because Majestic is coming from Europe and then back to Europe after. We don't have it at this time, but we are always looking at ways that we know it's a really popular cruise tour. So we're looking at ways that we can offer that, but none in the immediate future.
Excellent. Thank you, Kyle. And I know we went over 2 minutes because I had to honor our good friend Joe Franco on behalf of the entire Princess family team on board and ashore. Thank you, Joe, for almost 20 years of dedicated service. We can't thank you enough. We're going to miss you deeply. Kyle, thanks for coming and joining us for the first time. Connect with Princess. And to our travel advisors, as always, our sincere appreciation and gratitude for all that you do for us each and every one a day. We want to earn your trust and be a pleasure to do a business with. So we'll see you. Thanks for attending. We're recording this as always, and it's available on onesourcecruises.com. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, folks, and we'll see you next time. Carpe diem.
Thank you.
Seize the day.